And they're essentially saying that it's a money grab. And they're also going to countersue for millions of dollars, 5 million plus.
All right, hold on to your coffee mugs, because The View just delivered the kind of unscripted chaos that makes headlines before the credits even roll. If you're familiar with the show, you already know it's not just about casual chit-chat and celebrity gossip. It's a battleground of opinions where hot topics turn into verbal sparring matches faster than a subway train during rush hour. And right at the eye of today's storm, Sunny Hostin, fierce, unfiltered. And once again, trending for all the reasons you'd expect. And a few you might not. Whether you're nodding in agreement or yelling at your screen every time she speaks, Sunny has a way of dominating the conversation. She's the kind of voice that doesn't just stir the pot, she throws in extra spice and cranks up the heat. And today, she took things to a whole new level. During a segment on the current landscape of American leadership, Sunny didn't hold back. With the kind of passion that can only come from years of seeing the same old patterns repeat themselves, she called out what she sees as a glaring truth: the overwhelming presence of white individuals in top government roles. According to her, this isn't just about optics. It's about a system that continues to reward sameness while shutting out real change. Her words weren't vague or polite. She laid it out straight, arguing that this imbalance is a clear symptom of deeper systemic inequality, and it's part of the reason the country struggles to move forward in any meaningful way. That's when the atmosphere in the studio shifted. You could feel the tension rise even through the screen, and then the internet exploded. Some viewers clapped back instantly, accusing Sunny of fueling division. Others flooded social feeds in support, saying it's about time someone said it out loud. Clips of her monologue spread like wildfire, chopped into viral bites and flooded with heated takes from all sides. People are arguing, reposting, stitching TikToks, and firing off tweet threads faster than you can say cancel culture. So what made this moment different? Why did this particular take cause such a rift in public reaction? We'll get into that next. But for now, one thing's certain. Sunny Hostin just shook the table, and people are still scrambling to pick up the pieces.
She is self-appointed, she knows everything. It's great to see her ego take this hit, but I think it will be short-lived.
It's amazing to listen to her talk about.
The moment the words slipped from Sunny Hostin's mouth, the mood in the studio changed. You could feel it. It wasn't just tension. It was that uneasy quiet that comes when something lands a little too hard. Even her co-hosts, usually seasoned, at navigating uncomfortable topics, looked caught off guard. A few shifted in their seats. Some avoided eye contact. The air was thick. Whoopi Goldberg, the show's wise compass during rocky conversations, tried to gently reroute the discussion toward safer territory, but Sunny wasn't letting go. She leaned in further, her voice sharp, deliberate, unwavering. She insisted that the lack of diversity in leadership, especially in government, wasn't just an issue to tiptoe around. It was a crisis. One America needed to face head-on. To her supporters, it was a necessary truth bomb. To her critics, it was a swing too wild, too personal, and too generalized to move the needle in any meaningful direction. By the time the segment wrapped, the internet had already lit the match, and the fire spread quickly. Sunny and her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, were already facing heat on another front, accusations tied to an ongoing federal insurance fraud investigation. That backdrop only intensified the reaction. Online commentary spiraled into chaos. Some users praised Sunny's courage for saying what others won't, while others slammed her for hypocrisy, pointing to her husband's legal troubles as reason enough to discredit her entirely. One particularly biting comment read, "She lectures the world about fairness, then points fingers while her own house is on fire. The hypocrisy is unreal." And another, even harsher, "She dry snitched on her own husband live on air and now wants sympathy when the indictment comes. Come on." Ouch doesn't even begin to cover it. Still, the focus remains on Sunny's remarks during the show and the division they've reignited. Her detractors argue she's not promoting equity, she's dividing people further. They say she's too quick to paint entire groups with one brush, which undercuts her own message of fighting systemic bias. It's a tough pill for many to swallow, especially coming from someone who's built a career on championing fairness and accountability. And there's a bigger question brewing underneath all this noise. What has The View become? The show started as a platform built on contrast. Different voices, different generations, different beliefs coming together at one table. But some longtime fans now argue it's losing that balance, that it's less about engaging debates and more about preaching to a loyal choir. Sunny's critics say her latest remarks are yet another sign that the show has shifted too far into echo chamber territory, where bold statements go unchecked and alternative viewpoints get drowned out. Even among the panel, reining her in isn't easy. When Sunny's on a roll, she takes the mic and the moment. And when the topic hits a nerve, she doesn't just push, she bulldozes. That kind of intensity can spark needed conversations. But it can also scorch the ground before any real progress is made. And then there's the political angle that can't be ignored. Sunny is a well-known advocate for progressive policies. But moments like this are starting to raise concerns even within her own political circle. Some fear that this brand of outspoken, all-or-nothing rhetoric is feeding into a larger narrative about elitism in liberal politics, a narrative that's already been weaponized in campaigns, media cycles, and cultural wars. Critics argue that when progressive figures make broad claims about race or class without leaving room for dialogue, they risk turning off the very voters they need to reach. And in an era where every vote counts and every comment goes viral, the stakes couldn't be higher.
Just accused, and this accused in a lawsuit after some time of investigation could ultimately become a federal indictment. That's
Emmanuel Hostin, Sunny's husband, isn't sitting quietly amid the legal storm brewing around him. Through his attorney, he issued a firm denial, telling the Daily Mail that he denies each and every allegation, calling the lawsuit a blanket, scattershot, meritless attempt to discredit him. Strong words, but will they be enough to sway public opinion? Because out here, in the court of public reaction, things are getting ugly fast. Social media didn't waste a second. The moment Sunny's comments hit the airwaves, backlash came roaring in. Hashtags trended, memes flooded timelines. Clips were dissected, remixed, and shared by everyone from political pundits to casual viewers sipping their morning coffee. But here's the twist. It's not just conservative voices leading the charge this time. The pushback is coming from all sides, moderates, independents, and even progressives who usually stand behind her. One tweet that went viral read, "Yes, diversity matters. But alienating people in the name of progress? That's just bad strategy. Sunny Hostin needs to learn the difference between bold and reckless." That single post captured a sentiment that many seem to share. People aren't just questioning what she said, but how she said it, her tone, her timing, and most of all, whether the message is actually helping or just stoking more division. Of course, Sunny is no stranger to controversy. It's practically part of her brand. Over the years, she's clapped back at politicians, taken hard stances on hot-button issues, and called out hypocrisy wherever she sees it, often earning both cheers and jeers in the process. She's bold, she's brash, and she doesn't apologize. That's what her fans love about her, but this time feels different. This isn't about one slip-up or one episode. It's about a growing perception that Sunny's voice has shifted from fearless truth-teller to unfiltered provocateur. And for some, that line is starting to blur. Let's talk about it. Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, Sunny's husband, is caught up in a massive legal battle involving allegations of insurance fraud. The case, filed by American Transit, a New York-based insurance company, names him as one of 200 defendants, accused of participating in fraudulent medical billing schemes that could amount to hundreds of millions in damages. It's being described as one of the largest fraud lawsuits of its kind, and the potential fallout is enormous. Some viewers believe that Sunny's aggressive rhetoric on The View might be more than just opinion. It could be strategic distraction, a way to control the narrative, shift attention, and keep people focused on her politics rather than her personal life. And it doesn't help that during a previous episode, Sunny accidentally, or maybe not so accidentally, let slip a detail about the case that had legal experts raising eyebrows. It was awkward, tense, and left many wondering just how much more she knows than she's letting on. With the court case picking up steam and the public watching every move, Sunny's critics are asking one question: can someone preach justice when they're surrounded by controversy themselves? Now here's where the plot thickens. because things just got messier than a group text after a breakup. A growing number of viewers are starting to wonder if Sunny Hostin's fiery political commentary is less about shaking the system and more about deflecting attention from her own personal chaos.